Welcome back to Soul of Stone. Today we dive into a powerful Stoic truth that every man must understand. Respect is not demanded. Respect is earned, and it is earned through character. When a woman respects you, everything changes. The relationship becomes smoother, deeper, and more peaceful. But when she loses respect, arguments become constant, your value feels questioned, and her behavior shifts. So today, we're going to explore the Stoic principles that naturally create respect, not through force, not through manipulation, but through inner mastery. Because the more you master yourself, the more naturally others, including the woman in your life, will respect you. Let's begin. Number 1. Maintain emotional control. The heart of Stoicism. The Stoics believe that a man's true strength begins within. It's not in how much he can lift, how loud he speaks, or how dominant he appears. It's in how well he can master his emotions. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This simple idea can completely transform how a man is perceived in any relationship. Nothing kills respect faster than emotional reactions. A man who gets angry over small things, who becomes insecure when she pulls away, who panics when life doesn't go as planned, or constantly seeks attention or reassurance. When a man loses control over himself, a woman instinctively feels unsafe. She wonders, if he can't control his emotions, how can he lead? How can I trust him when things get difficult? But everything changes when you choose calm over chaos. When you pause instead of exploding. When you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When you stay steady even in stress or uncertainty. She notices. She feels it. Your presence becomes grounded, strong, and magnetic. This is Stoicism in action. You cannot control other people, their actions, words, or moods. You cannot control events, the delays, setbacks, or disappointments, but you can control yourself, your mind, your reactions, your emotional state. A man who controls himself naturally earns respect, not by demanding it, but by embodying it. When your inner world is steady, your outer world changes. You become calmer, clearer, more intentional. Decisions come easier because emotion no longer clouds your judgment. You communicate from strength, not fear. You move with confidence, not desperation. Women can sense this. They feel the difference when a man's mind is strong, composed, and unshakable. That stability draws respect naturally. True strength is not loud. It's not reactive. It's disciplined, controlled, and deliberate. The Stoics knew that a man who governs himself becomes unshakable. Remember, you do not need to control the world. You only need to control yourself. Master that, and you become a man whose presence commands respect, silently, naturally, effortlessly. Number 2. Set boundaries without fear. Seneca once said, "If you stand for nothing, you will fall for everything." One of the biggest reasons women lose respect for a man is simple. He has no boundaries. He tolerates disrespect. He accepts behavior he shouldn't. He always says yes, even when he wants to say no. He sacrifices his own needs, his time, and his standards, because he's afraid she will leave. And when a man operates this way, he loses himself. He becomes reactive, insecure, and unsteady. Women sense this instinctively. They feel the lack of strength and clarity, and respect begins to fade. But here's the Stoic truth. Respect is earned when you stand firm in what you believe. Boundaries are not anger. They are not shouting or controlling her. They are not about being aggressive or domineering. A boundary is simply communicating calmly and clearly. This is the behavior I accept. This is what I will not tolerate. It could be something small, like insisting on being treated politely during an argument, or something larger, like refusing to compromise your personal values for approval. Every time you assert your boundaries without fear, you demonstrate self-respect. And self-respect commands respect from others. A man who fears losing her will always lose himself. But a man who remains grounded, principled, and disciplined in his values earns respect effortlessly. It's silent. It's natural. It doesn't require proving or controlling. Imagine this. She tests your patience by being dismissive or argumentative. If you react emotionally, you appear unstable. But if you stay calm, respond thoughtfully, and enforce your boundary with clarity, she sees your strength immediately. Your energy changes. Your presence becomes magnetic. Respect grows without a single word of demand. Standing by your principles doesn't just protect your dignity, it builds character. It signals stability, integrity, and confidence, the qualities that are deeply attractive. So remember, boundaries are not confrontation, they are clarity. They are self-respect in action. Stand firm in what you believe. Communicate your limits. Protect your time, energy, and values. And watch as respect follows. Naturally, silently, powerfully, and effortlessly. Number 3, become mission-focused. Not validation-focused, women respect a man who is driven. The Stoics believed in living according to your purpose, your logos. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." A man without a mission clings to his partner. He becomes needy. He makes her the center of his world. He stops growing, stops hustling, stops evolving. And nothing kills respect faster than dependence. But when she sees that you have goals, that you have discipline, that you wake up every day with direction, that you are actively building your life, everything changes. She feels proud of you. She admires you. She respects you because she knows your motivation doesn't come from her approval. It comes from your purpose. A driven man has a mission bigger than himself. He doesn't need constant validation, attention, or reassurance. He knows who he is, what he wants, and where he's going. And that certainty, that focus, is magnetic. It inspires trust. It inspires admiration. It inspires respect. A woman should be a part of your life, not the reason you live. She will naturally gravitate toward a man who is building, growing, and striving. One who is disciplined, ambitious, and committed to his path. Live with purpose, wake up with direction, pursue your goals relentlessly, and respect, admiration, and genuine connection will follow, not because you demand it, but because you earn it. Number 4, practice honest, direct communication. Most men handle conflict in one of two ways. They either avoid it completely or they explode in anger. Both extremes destroy respect. Avoiding issues shows weakness, while uncontrolled anger signals instability. Neither earns admiration, trust, or influence. Stoicism teaches a different approach, a calm, deliberate middle path. Direct, honest communication without anger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Speak with clarity. Speak with calmness. Speak with intention, even when the conversation is uncomfortable or challenging. Why? Because emotional honesty requires courage, and courage more than anything earns respect. When you tell her what you feel without neediness or reactivity. When you communicate your needs without fear. When you speak the truth without aggression. She notices. She respects you. Because a man who communicates this way demonstrates internal order. He is not driven by impulse. He is steady, disciplined, and grounded. Conflict does not unbalance him. Criticism does not provoke him. Challenges do not shake him. And that steadiness is magnetic. It signals strength, maturity, and self-mastery. The qualities that inspire admiration and respect naturally. Remember, respect is not demanded, it is earned. And the man who faces conflict with calm courage, who speaks truth with intention, and who remains composed in the heat of emotion, is a man who earns it effortlessly. Number 5. Stop trying to impress her. Impress yourself. A man who tries too hard to impress a woman quickly loses respect. Why? Because trying too hard sends the message, "I don't think I'm enough." It communicates neediness, insecurity, and dependence on external validation. Stoicism teaches a different path: self-reliance. Your worth does not come from compliments, her attention, or her approval. True worth comes from the man you build yourself into. When you focus on yourself, cultivating skills, building your body, expanding your mind, and leveling up your lifestyle, you naturally radiate confidence. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to perform or seek validation. Your presence alone speaks volumes. A man who is committed to his growth demonstrates strength, stability, and independence. He is not swayed by approval or disapproval. He is grounded, intentional, and evolving. And that is magnetic. That is the kind of presence a woman respects deeply. She admires a man who is devoted to becoming the best version of himself, not for her validation, but for his own evolution. When your life, your ambitions, and your discipline are aligned, respect follows naturally. You no longer need to chase attention or affirmation. You create it by living in accordance with your purpose, your values, and your growth. The Stoic man knows that self-improvement is the ultimate form of confidence. He doesn't need to impress. He doesn't need to perform. He simply lives with integrity, ambition, and focus, and that alone earns admiration, respect, and influence effortlessly. Number 6, be consistent, not just nice. Niceness doesn't earn respect. Anyone can be nice. Anyone can smile, agree, or say the things people want to hear. But respect? Respect comes from something deeper. Respect comes from consistency. The Stoics lived by principles day after day, without shortcuts, without excuses. They understood that true character is revealed not in words, but in actions. A woman respects a man who says what he means and means what he says, follows through even when it's difficult, keeps his promises no matter the circumstances, stays disciplined even when temptation calls, lives by his values no matter what others think. A man whose actions align with his words becomes rare in this world. And rarity creates value. When your life is guided by principles, your consistency signals strength, integrity, and reliability. She can trust you because she sees the same patterns day after day. She sees a man who is steady, grounded, and dependable. Not reactive, not fleeting, not inconsistent. Consistency is magnetic. It doesn't require trying to impress. It doesn't need validation. It simply demonstrates that your life is built on discipline, clarity, and purpose. And that is what earns respect effortlessly. Not niceness, not charm, not empty words, True respect comes to the man who lives by his principles, honors his commitments, and embodies integrity in every action. In a world full of inconsistency, that kind of man is rare, and that rarity is priceless. Number 7. Embrace discomfort and responsibility. Stoicism teaches that true growth happens in discomfort. Avoiding challenges weakens a man. Running from difficulty, making excuses, or blaming others leaves him stagnant and insecure. But facing challenges head-on, taking responsibility, and persevering through adversity strengthens him. Women naturally respect men who take responsibility for their actions, confront problems rather than ignore them, handle difficulties without complaining. Don't run away when life gets hard. Seneca said it best. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man without trials. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to refine yourself, to grow stronger, and to build resilience. When she sees you handle life's obstacles with maturity, calm strength, and steady determination, respect follows naturally. She notices the difference between a man who is reactive, overwhelmed, or dependent, and a man who remains composed, deliberate, and self-reliant. And here's the key: respect is not something you ask for or demand. It is earned silently, effortlessly, through your actions. By facing life's challenges with courage, discipline, and integrity, you become a man who inspires trust, admiration, and quiet authority. Strength is not in avoiding hardship, it is in meeting it with poise and resolve. And a man who does this consistently, day after day, becomes someone who is respected deeply, not because of what he says, but because of the way he lives. In the end, discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. And a man who embraces it, who grows through it, earns the kind of respect that lasts. Number 8. Stay calm. During conflict, when a woman tests you emotionally, and yes, she will, your reaction determines everything. If you respond defensively with jealousy or insecurity, if you argue explosively or try to win the fight, respect begins to fade. She senses instability, unpredictability, and weakness. But there is another way, a way the Stoics practiced for centuries. If you stay composed, grounded, and logical, if you listen first before reacting, if you remain level-headed even when emotions run high, she notices, she feels it. Real strength becomes visible. Stoicism teaches emotional neutrality, the ability to stand firm in the midst of emotional storms, to remain calm, rational, and centered, no matter the chaos around you. This doesn't mean being cold or unfeeling. It means mastering yourself, controlling your reactions, and choosing responses over impulses. A man who embodies this is magnetic. He is steady. He is confident. He is unshakable. And nothing commands respect more than a man who cannot be rattled by emotional tests. She instinctively knows she can trust him, rely on him, and respect him. His strength is silent, but unmistakable. By practicing emotional neutrality, by mastering your inner world, you do not just maintain respect, you earn admiration effortlessly. You show that your presence is strong, steady, and unwavering. Remember, emotions may swirl, challenges may rise, but the man who stands firm in his composure is a man who commands respect, naturally, consistently, and powerfully. Number 9. Don't chase. Allow. A Stoic never chases what he cannot control. He doesn't waste energy on trying to force outcomes, manipulate situations, or gain approval. Instead, He focuses on what he can influence: his actions, his mindset, his behavior. When you stop chasing and start allowing, two things happen naturally. First, you regain your power. You stop being reactive. You stop giving others control over your emotions, your confidence, or your sense of worth. You become self-reliant, steady, and unshakable. Second, she feels your confidence. Women are drawn to men who value themselves, who move through life with clarity and composure, who are not desperate for attention or validation. Respect grows effortlessly when she senses that you do not beg for love, affection, or approval. You choose her, but you do not need her. That distinction is subtle, but it is everything. A man who understands this is calm, composed, and magnetic. His presence is grounded in self-respect, not in desperation or neediness. The Stoic man knows the world may be unpredictable. People may act inconsistently, but his confidence, his choices, and his integrity are entirely his own. That mindset commands respect without words, without force, and without trying. When you live this way, you naturally attract admiration, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. You are in control of yourself, and that is far more powerful than controlling anyone else. Number 10. Live with virtue, the ultimate Stoic law. Stoicism teaches that a man's greatest strength is his character, virtue above everything else. It is not wealth, not charm, not looks or status that define a man. True strength comes from the values he lives by, the principles he upholds, and the consistency with which he applies them. When you live with honesty, courage, discipline, humility, self-control, and fairness, you become a man who naturally earns respect everywhere you go, especially from the woman in your life. Attraction may initially come from appearance, charm, or success, but respect, true, lasting respect, comes from character. It is the steady, consistent demonstration of who you are, what you stand for, and how you handle yourself in life. Character is visible in the choices you make when no one is watching. It is demonstrated in how you treat others, how you respond to challenges, and how you remain composed under pressure. A man of virtue inspires trust, admiration, and confidence. And the remarkable thing about character is that it is built daily. Every decision, every action, every moment of discipline adds to it. It is not something inherited, bought, or assumed. It is earned, step by step, through consistent effort. Live with integrity. Uphold your principles. Strengthen your mind and your values. And in doing so, you become the kind of man who naturally commands respect. Not through words, not through force, but through the quiet power of character. A woman will notice this. She will admire it. She will respect it. And that respect is lasting because it is rooted in the essence of who you are, not what you show the world. If you want more respect from the woman in your life, don't try to control her. Control yourself. Don't try to manipulate her. Master your internal world. Respect is a byproduct of discipline, purpose, emotional control, and virtue. Become that man, and she won't just respect you. She will admire you, follow you, and feel safe with you. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Soul of Stone for more Stoic wisdom, masculine philosophy, and daily lessons for mastering your mind and your life. Stay strong, stay grounded, stay stoic.